Avi Meyer's Northtown Neighborhood News Magazine, a presentation of Sonny Hirsch and myself. Dial us up on the web at www.ntnm.org. You'll find over 1,000 videos from the last, 9 years or so, and over 250,000 copies watched. The community policing, we're real big on that. And community policing is alive and well in the 24th district. Don't like the shootings going on, want to talk about it, come to your next CAPS meeting. Check in with the 24th district. The community policing number is 312-744-6321. You can also go to caps24.org. That Sonny Hirsch, in his spare time, he's chairman of the 24th District Advisory Committee, runs. Are the meeting dates up to date, Sonny? They better be, because I'm going to have people check on you. Caps24.org. And by the way, in my spare time, too, I'm a beat facilitator. And only had 3 shootings in my beat so far in the last month. So, and this is a peaceful neighborhood. So, get out to your CAPS meeting and let the cops know what's going on. It is a pleasure to have the Republican candidate for Congress in the 9th District. And that is Joan McCarthy Lasonde. How you doing?
Hi, Avi. Nice to see you. Thank you so much for having me back.
First of all, my pleasure. Thank you very much. And I'd like to thank Blaine and Garber.
Blair Garber.
Blair
Ninth
Garber
Central
for
State Committeeman.
Right, for accompanying you here today. And anyway, in terms of the campaign, well, first of all, why don't you tell us where the 9th Congressional District is?
It is a crazy gerrymandered district.
In Illinois, really?
It is a U, okay? Whatever happened to like squares and grids? So it starts north, Winnetka, Kenilworth, Evanston, then we swing down to Chicago, Rogers Park. 30% of our district is in the city, 70% is in the suburbs. It goes down all the way to Diversey, and then it swings back through Lincolnwood, Skokie, Morton Grove, and then, if you can believe it, all the way up through Des Plaines, Arlington Heights, Wheeling. They clip through Mount Prospect. So it really is a U.
Wow.
Yeah, it's crazy.
Typical Chicago, or Illinois, rather. And, okay, that's, so Congress, 9th District. Now, well, certainly the incumbent gets less and less votes every time she runs.
That's true.
What encouraged, why did you decide to run?
I am running for Congress because I am petrified of the direction that this country is taking. And I have sat back and watched. And someone has to step up. And the incumbent has been in for 24 years. And it's time for change. I respect her. Anything that she's done, she should have already done, though. She's had 24 years.
Yeah, she hasn't done too much. That is a fact. Well, actually, she has, but not always the right thing. But I'm not going to get into that. First of all, I'm not endorsing anybody here. People know I'm not happy with Congress in general.
And you're not alone. Congress right now is at an all-time low approval rating of 9%. That's embarrassing. 9%.
And that's almost within the limit of statistical error. So yes. It could be a statistical error that there's, well, that's probably guys who are directly on the payroll of the Congress themselves.
Who voted.
So what do you see, so what are the major issues?
Okay, there's 3 major issues in our district. The first is the economy and jobs. The country has been growing for the last 8 years at less than 1%. Like been 0.8%. We have to restore our growth back to the levels of 3%, 4%, 5%. Economy is the number 1 issue. The number 2 issue is security nowadays. Security is broken out 2 ways. We have national security and we have homeland security. National security, I mean, just yesterday, the terror in Istanbul, Turkey at the airport. ISIS is everywhere. And then there's homeland security. We need to know who's coming into our country. We have to secure our borders, and we need to know who's coming in. And then third, also under security comes Israel. Israel is a huge issue in our district, and unfortunately, my opponent has betrayed the Jewish community twice since the last election, since November of 2014. The first thing she did was she led the boycott of Prime Minister Netanyahu when he came to speak before Congress. Not only did she not show up, but she led the boycott. She whipped the other congressmen to not show up for Prime Minister Netanyahu. That's crazy. He's the Prime Minister. When I am in Congress, I will show up when Prime Minister Netanyahu comes. It's one thing to have a meeting, to agree, to disagree. She didn't even show up for the meeting. And then the other thing, which is really horrible, and I'm sure you know this, she voted yes for the Iran deal. She voted yes, which basically means that $100 billion in sanctions was unfrozen. Iran has that money now, and they're funneling it to terrorism and to Hezbollah. What are they trying to do? Blow Israel off the map. So, Jan Schakowsky is not pro-Israel.
That's something that's not even a question in terms of Iran. Anybody who's paying attention, there isn't a single day that goes by that Iran doesn't make a statement that Israel must be wiped off the map. Even the day that they signed the treaty, they talk about blowing Israel off the map.
Correct.
And Obama has even actually written into the treaty that he will defend Iran.
Correct.
If Israel or anybody else tries to attack Iran. It's like he's trying to make remake the Middle East and ignore all the friends. And Schakowsky's behind him 100%. She
Absolutely.
is a member of the Foreign Affairs Committee.
Absolutely.
And
she's no friend of Israel.
No, she's been a very key player for all the anti-Israel positions as well as...
She begrudgingly votes for final passage. Begrudgingly. I have met with AIPAC twice. I will always vote for final passage. And final passage is the foreign aid bill that every year it's an appropriations bill that will go to foreign aid to Israel. I will always defend Israel, and I will do it, with pleasure and with pride. I understand that Israel is the only democracy in the Middle East, and they are our ally and our friend, and they're not being treated as one, and it's shameful.
It is. For those who aren't familiar, AIPAC is probably the best of and by the way, for those of you who don't know, in my spare time, I'm the publisher of Jewish Chicago for the last 30-something years. AIPAC is the primary pro-Israel lobby in Washington and the most effective and consistently pro-Israel lobby. There is also J Street, which is actually an anti-Israel Jewish lobby. It's funded mainly by a fellow named George Soros, who is a Hungarian Jew, who admitted directly on 60 Minutes, and you can go to YouTube and check it out or go to the 60 Minute website. He admitted that as a teenager he survived during the war. It wasn't just a matter of survival, but he actually was a Nazi collaborator in World War II. He went into Jewish houses, pointed out to the Nazis what was of value, and that they absconded, and as such, he hasn't been friendly to the Jews since. So this guy Soros has been, at least initially, more than half the support and money behind J Street and their main driving force. And Jan Schakowsky has been a six-figure beneficiary of the anti-Israel, self-hating Jewish lobby, J Street.
Right, which is shocking. Shocking.
Yeah, it's unbelievable.
I find it unbelievable that she would vote yes for the Iran nuclear deal. Unbelievable. To me, that is game over. Like when she boycotted Prime Minister Netanyahu, that's a game changer. But when she voted yes to the Iran nuclear deal, you know what? We need to send her a message, and the Jewish community needs to send her a message, because both of these votes have come since the last time she won the election in November of 2014. This is new behavior. We need to send her a message and say enough. You cannot treat Israel like this.
Very much so. And people need to be careful, too, because too many people watch sound bites on the news and just believe in those quick little lies. And I've interviewed her, and I mean, she's a pretty smooth customer. And basically, she will talk about that she's been in Israel and say warm, nice things about Israel. And she has visited there several times. But you know what? Just because she says it and just because it's on TV, you don't look. I've always tried, when I try to educate people about what to look for when they're looking at a political race, you don't look at a person's words. They're politicians, no offense.
Yeah, no, I understand.
You know, words come cheap. You have to look at somebody's actions
Correct.
and where they've been. You know what? Speaking of actions, you've got a really good background you don't seem to talk about.
I can tell you anything you want to know.
Yeah, no. Well, first of all, I noticed that you're one of the board members or something of the Illinois State Crime Commission.
Illinois State Crime Commission, where we fight heroin and human trafficking. My husband and I have a foster child from the 9th District, from DCFS. She's lived with us for 3 years. Her mom's a heroin addict. She's one of 8 kids. I've seen firsthand the broken system and how the government is failing these children. I'm fighting for children. I'm fighting for education. Both of my parents were Chicago public school teachers, and I believe that education is the way out of poverty. And I'm for school choice, unlike my opponent, and I'm for vouchers. I believe in private education, whether it's religious. You know, it doesn't matter if it's Catholic or Jewish or what, but the parent should be able to decide, and there should be a voucher. And if you choose to send your child to a religious school, then whatever, you know, the taxes are that you're paying for the public school, you should receive a voucher. I'm for free markets, and school choice is really all about free markets.
Well, even if it's a partial voucher, let's say $5,000, the fact of the matter is the public schools themselves save a considerable amount of money. Like here in you know, I live in the religious Jewish community in West Rogers Park. We have Jewish schools like crazy, and the reason the public schools aren't overcrowded is because we're not sending our kids there.
Right. Well, those people should be receiving vouchers.
It'd be nice because we're paying the taxes anyway for the schools.
That's correct.
And the fact is, it would lessen the load considerably. And, you know, the idea of school choice, too, and that's something else that Schakowsky and Obama and the Democrats have been dead set against. In Washington, you had a more of a voluntary type system in Washington, D.C., and kids were thriving. He gets into office and he disassembles it right away. I don't know whether he's kissing union butt or just that's his stupid principles and mistakes along other lines. But basically, he starts messing up the lives of a ton of kids.
Yes, absolutely. And it's all this corruption with lifelong politicians. I'm for term limits. My opponent has been in office for 24 years. She was a state rep for 8 years, and then she's been in Congress for 16 years, I guess it is.
Actually, it's 18.
18 years.
So 26.
26 years. Okay, so it's even longer. 26 years. I mean, enough is enough. This is all that quid pro quo that's going on. You vote for me, you get the vote out, and then I'll lobby for you. Enough. Enough with the career politicians.
Yeah, I very much agree on that score. So I assume you wouldn't mind. Are you available to speak to groups, synagogues,
I absolutely
churches,
am.
things
I would
like
love
that?
to come out to synagogues and churches anywhere here in the neighborhood. I have a website. It's joanforcongress.com, JOAN for Congress.com. I would ask your listeners to go to my website and look at our position on Israel. And email in. Take a look at our position on Israel and let me know what you think. And I'd be more than happy to come out to the synagogue and to hear what's important to you.
Sounds good. Joan McCarthy Lasonde running for Congress as a Republican in the 9th District. Thanks to Blair Garber for bringing you. And good luck in the campaign.
Thank you. And I'll come back anytime.
You are more than invited. Thank you.
Wonderful.
You are too, Jan.
Yeah, come. Yeah, let's have a debate. Let's do it on the Avi Show.
You got it.
It'll be friendly.